Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you've had a great day or a great beginning of the day for anybody who's in the other side of the world. So, thank you so much for being with us today. And boy, do we have something great for you as we continue on how to be an effective communicator or the art of effective communication. So, I am Daniel. This lady next to me here is Essie. Thank you so much for being with us. And how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you, Daniel. And we hope that you are also doing well, our dear friends. Uh, we want to take this opportunity to welcome you all, and we hope you have had a great week. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Kindly let us know where you are watching us from, and also engage with us in the comments section and let us know out of the 3 points that we shared last week, which one resonated with you the most? Daniel, what are the 3 points?
Do you know the 3 points?
Do you? Do you?
Of course, I know, and I won't tell you, but I will tell them.
I'll keep my ears closed.
Anyway, everybody, last week we talked about three things. Number one was know your audience. Number two was talk to them, not over them. And number three was less is more. Know your audience, talk to them, not over them, and less is more. If you would like to know a little bit more about that and you haven't had a chance, please go back and watch the recording that we had last week, and that will put this one in perspective. But don't do it right now. You can do it after this recording. And if you're watching this as a recording also, thank you so much for joining us, and go back and watch the other series. And at the end, we will tell you a little bit more about how you can be part of this, how you can join this and become a better and more effective speaker. So with that being said, today we will be continuing with that lesson. We will give you 3 more points. And let's put a disclaimer here quickly. The lawyers want us to put a disclaimer, right, Essie?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Anyway, disclaimer. These are not in any particular order. Mm-hmm. We are just giving you little nuggets that we feel are useful to you and will make you successful. But if you want a deep dive, if you want a deeper knowledge of how you can do some of these things, let us know. We will have our contact information scrolling down here, I think. Yeah. Am I pointing it? Okay. So feel free to reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to help you. So today we'll have 3 more points, and they form an acronym. That acronym is AHA. Now, let us know in the comment section, when you hear AHA, what comes to your mind? Or what do you think that stands for? AHA. I will not tell you all of them at once. We'll start one at a time. The first one is anticipation. Create anticipation with your audience. Mm-hmm. Like right now, you're anticipating what the other two are, right? I still won't tell you either until you get there. So you have to stick around to the very end. But that doesn't mean I don't have a responsibility either. I have a responsibility of keeping you engaged, and you have a responsibility of doing your learning. Anyway, anticipation. What anticipation does is keep the attention span. It is to keep your audience wanting to know what's next. Mm-hmm. That's what some of the best storytellers do. We have an example from our mentor, John Maxwell, who I watched a speech one day. Actually, I was live in the auditorium, and he kept talking about this word that he hates. And hate is a strong word.
Mm-hmm.
And he would leave it and come back and leave it and talk about, remember what I told you? Stick around. And when he gave it at the end, he just spelled it out. And now you're all wondering what that word is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a secret. I won't tell you.
Ah.
Or some of those things that newscasters do, like, how can you make your phone work for you? Stick around for news at 10. Those things create that anticipation. Now, when you build that anticipation, be fair to your audience. Don't leave them hanging. If you said you will do this at this moment, do it at that moment. We said we will come live, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make a commitment, be sure to follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even scripture tells us that, right?
Yeah.
Make a promise. God is not pleased with promises of fools.
Mm.
So if you don't want to be a fool, don't act a fool. Honor your commitment. So all that to say, when it comes to anticipation, when you build that anticipation, make sure you deliver.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing as bad as anticipating something great only to be disappointed later. And that's when you go read the reviews and you hear, that's not what I expected. That's not what I came here for. I want my money back if it's a place where you had to pay to get in because you expect to get your money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So anticipation keeps the audience wanting more. Essie, anything to add on to that before we go to the next one?
I am excited about the next one, so let me not even spoil it for us.
All right. The next one, what is it? It starts with H. We already know that. And I come, oh, you already gave it away. Come on. And that's the humorous part of it. You know, one thing about being a good connector and a good communicator is someone who can use humor even in sad situations or serious situations. Now, that doesn't mean that you go cracking jokes where they're not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Humor and jokes are two different things. Now, humor usually comes through jokes, but there are times when a joke is not appropriate. But that doesn't mean you cannot utilize humor. It doesn't mean you cannot utilize humor in a serious situation. Just know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
Know your audience. When you know your audience, you will know what makes them tick. And as far as humor is concerned, some people say funny things and they resonate with us. We have comedians who say really funny things, and I love comedy. There are people who are just funny because they're funny.
Mm-hmm.
One that comes to my mind is Conan O'Brien. There's some things that I can say, and people will look at me like, what? Or what did you just say? Or what's the point? But if Conan O'Brien says the same exact thing, everybody will crack or fall laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's Conan O'Brien. It's how he says it. Some people say things in a funny way. Some people, it's how they say it that comes out very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just look funny. So which one? But humor is very important. Keep it light. Life is short. Don't take it too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Essie, what are some of the ways that we can integrate humor in our conversations?
Thank you, Daniel. Maybe I can start by saying that naturally, I'm not that person that just comes up with a real cool joke. For me, it's work. And having Daniel with me as my husband, and for him, humor comes naturally. He finds everything funny. And he has a way of also coming up with a joke or creating a laughing moment, even when you would never have thought that was an ideal situation for it, and we all end up cracking up. And so I've had to work hard, and I'm still work in progress. I'm still getting there. I'm not there yet, and I'll probably not get there because I want to keep on getting good and perfecting my skills as far as humor, injecting humor in my conversations and in my speech is concerned. But some ways that you can get humorous, or you can get ideas on how to be funny. And when I say funny, also understand that bear with us, because we come from we are originally from Africa, and so our English was British English, and then we are currently residing in America, and we speak American English. So sometimes we will say something and then we'll realize, very quickly, wait, this is what it was supposed to sound like. For example, let me just give a quick example. Maybe we are talking about pants. In pants has a different meaning in British English than it does in American English. And so I just realized when I said funny, it could come across, it could have a different meaning to you. So just bear with us. When we today, on this particular point, we're talking about humor, and we're talking about injecting it in our conversations, in our talks as speakers. So anyway, what are some ways we can get good at this? One is by watching comedies and cartoons. Just look for...
Yay, cartoons.
What's that?
I said yay for cartoons.
Don't even go there. Don't remind me, Daniel. When we were dating, remember you took me to a cartoon movie. Second time taking me out. Don't even get me telling that story.
I mean, who doesn't love Madagascar? Madagascar is a good movie.
My goodness. There we go. There we go now. Let's spare this until after this session about humor. But get good at watching cartoons, watching not just cartoons, but funny cartoons that have humor in them, comedies and movies that have humor in them, or even stand-up comedies. Watch some of those, and you will raise your level of using humor. Also, we would encourage you to keep a humor journal. Write down those funny stories and those funny jokes and those funny quotes. Journal them in your humor journal, because you never know when the time will come and you will need that particular joke, or you will need to tell a funny story so that you can get your audience to loosen up. One of the things that our mentor, Roddy, likes to talk about is the use of humor to lighten up the room. For example, if I've had an opportunity to go and speak in a meeting where your audience are there because they must be there, otherwise they will not have their jobs the next day. And so when you show up there, I've had to work hard to make the experience fun for them. And so most of them would probably have their hands crossed and they have that serious look. And the moment I get up there on stage, I can see that I have quite some work to do to get them to loosen up. So one of the things I've learned from our mentor, Roddy, is crack a joke or share a humorous story, because you'll never find someone laughing with a straight face and their arms crossed. When people are happy, when people are laughing, they tend to loosen up and relax. And when they do, that's a good opportunity for you to do what? To carry on with your points, or to share what the next point would be. So keep a humor journal, the same way you keep a quote, or rather, the same way you compile your quotes and your personal stories, compile your jokes and funny stories, because you never know when the ideal time, when the opportune time will present itself and you need it. And it's not at that time when you'll be getting on your phone to find what is that joke on Google. No, that's not the time to search for it. At that moment, it's time for you to use it so that you can engage your audience or get everybody to loosen up. So keep a journal, a humor journal, and review it every now or every so often. And then after you've done all that, make this an everyday habit. If you want to get good at something, don't postpone when you will practice that you want to get good at. See to it that you're doing these things on a daily basis. You're practicing. For example, I want to get good at this. So what I will do, I'll try to pull some jokes with Daniel when we are home and with the kids, so that when it backfires, it does not backfire on when I'm on stage with 100 people or 1,000 or even a few thousands of people in the audience, and they are thinking, ouch, that didn't come out well. Practice it at home and make sure it works before you export it, so that you can correct and adjust as you go. Daniel, over to you.
Thank you. So again, as Essie said, keep it light. Now, that doesn't mean you don't take it seriously, but by keeping it light, you keep your audience engaged for longer and you don't lose them halfway through. The third point is authenticity. Be authentic. I know this is something that is very near and dear to your heart, Essie. So I will let you take us away on that and tell us a little bit about what does authenticity mean.
Thank you, Daniel. Authenticity to me means being yourself. Being yourself. Don't try to be who you're not. There are specific people that you will reach by being you that you will never reach by trying to become or impersonate someone else. For example, if I was to try and crack an impromptu joke here, trying to be like my husband here, Daniel, chances are it would not come out as well as Daniel would, because for him, it comes out naturally. But if I can stay on my lane, and let's assume I'm a great storyteller, and I stay on my storytelling side, and he takes the humor lane, then when we come together, we produce something unique, something beautiful and admirable. And so, to me, authenticity is being yourself. When you are yourself, your confidence is at par. Authenticity boasts your confidence. And I would love to give some examples here that are going to probably surprise some of us. If, for example, you like wearing African attire, or you are from Africa, wear your African attire, wear your kilt if you're Scottish, and with pride. Let's assume I'm going to speak somewhere. I don't have to try and look a certain way, and that's not who I am. If that's not who I am, then I should try to be who I am really. If I love African attire, I should wear my kitenge. or I don't know what the other countries in Africa call the outfit. Wear it and wear it with pride. The most important thing, remember, it's knowing your content. So if you know your content well and you have mastered the art of presenting it, and then you show up looking good and presentable and you are authentic, then you will get people leaning in. You'll get your audience leaning in to listen to you because you're sharing something interesting and something that everyone will assume is unique and something they've not had before. So be authentic. Wear your African kitenge with pride. Wear your sari if you're Indian with pride. If you have an accent, like I do, don't try to say when you're speaking, don't try to use those words and you're trying to produce them a certain way and then you end up murdering that beautiful language. For example, when I first moved here, I struggled with saying water. And because we used to say water. So I would ask for a cup of water and I would get that look. But then as I've continued being here, I've adjusted how I say things, but I also know when to use words as they should, when to say things as they should. Remember, we talked about knowing your audience. So I know when I need to speak a certain way and pronounce words a certain way, and I also know when to be myself. So be confident. Don't worry about your accent. Just work on pronouncing words well so that you can be understood and you can be heard well. And then work on your content. Otherwise, we will end up trying to wing. And if you're in the wrong audience and you're trying to sound a certain way, they will all just stare and gaze at you and wonder, whoa, ouch. where are this person's friends? Didn't they tell her or didn't they tell him that he sounds this way and this way when he does things a certain way or when he says certain words a certain way? So be authentic. If your background is in a certain area, bring in those stories, incorporate them in your speech. For example, if you are telling a story about what? About persistence, and you are from a certain background where maybe your tribe or you are in a situation where you can give an example on how you persisted or whatever it is that you would like to talk about, bring in your personal stories from back there because they will be more meaningful because they are authentic, they are yours, rather than when you're getting someone else's story and you're working hard to make it your own. For example, for me, if I was to share, and I'm talking about, if I'm speaking at a meeting and I'm talking about science, that would be a bad idea, and Daniel can tell you that, because science was not my strength even when I was in school. But if you bring in anything art related, language related, or food related, or design, oh my goodness, I will rock it like a rock star. And so when I'm speaking, I would lean more towards giving stories on cooking or giving stories on how I grew up. And these are some of the stories that I've actually shared when I've had the opportunity to speak in public schools, especially to educators in schools. I've shared these stories with them, how I grew up, how I learned, what I've learned from my experiences from growing up as a young girl and going to school in Africa. So be authentic. Most people will hire you as a speaker, not because of the content you have, but because of the personal stories that you have and how you can relate or bring together your personal stories and the topic that you're talking about, and of course your presentation. So be authentic, be unique, be yourself, be confident. If you're a musician, feel free to play an instrument or even give examples that are music related. And then finally, be vulnerable. Talk about your failures. Don't just talk about your success stories as if you've never failed. We all know that we are human, and in the process of trying new things, in the name of getting better, we will stumble every now and then. Share those stories with people because they will give someone hope, and they will encourage that one person that is on the ground and thinking they will never get up. Share your stories of success and share your stories of how you fail and chose not to stay on the ground, or how quick you got up and the lessons that you learned out of that experience. So Daniel, there you have it, authenticity and vulnerability.
All right, thank you, Essie. So again, to recap, what we talked about today was aha, and I hope this was an aha moment for you: anticipation, humor, and authenticity. Anticipation, humor, and authenticity. So we will be continuing this next week. And next week, we'll move a little bit more from how to the person himself, to you yourself, the technique. What are some of the techniques? What are some of the things that we can employ to communicate better with others, to connect better with other people? So next week, we will be talking about the technique of effective communication. It might not come up that way in terms of the topic, but hopefully for those who are anticipating to know what we'll be talking about next week, there you have it. And if you have any questions or any concerns, please engage with us in the comments. Please engage with us using the information provided down here, and let us know how we can be of help to you. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We will see you next week. I will invite Essie to land this plane for us. And thanks again, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. And what else can I say? You've concluded it so well. We just want to say thanks to you all who are watching us. Thank you for sparing your 20 minutes, your 30 minutes to be here with us. We hope this has been of value to you. And if you would like to learn more about the art of effective communication, we welcome you to contact us. Our number is at the bottom. Feel free to reach out to us, and we will be happy to walk this journey with you. Again, I would love to mention, tell this short story by Warren Buffett. He says that it's very, very important for us to become great communicators. Because when you are a great communicator, you come across to other people as if you're good at everything. If you're not a good communicator, it's a skill that you can learn. It's never too late. You can get good at it. First, by reading books. You can be mentored by great speakers through their videos or through their books. And you could also join us and other coaches that are near you that can help you with the art of effective communication. So this is what, and Daniel, don't forget to tell us that word. Did you share the word that?
AVERAGE. I'm not gonna say it out, but it is spelled AVERAGE. Hopefully you can spell it out for you, but that's the word that John Maxwell hates. Thank you.
Average is the word. And so Warren Buffett said that if you're not a good communicator, it's actually like winking at a girl in the dark. What happens, Daniel, when you wink at a girl at night?
Nothing happens.
They can't see you. And there is no way you can hear a wink with your ears. It's something that you would have to use your sense of sight. So let's get good at communicating so that we can keep on growing and getting better. You can also give that gift to your youth, your teenagers, maybe your family members or teen friends that you have in your community. Encourage them to work on their communication skills. Otherwise, God bless you all. Thank you so very much for being here with us. We love you, we appreciate you, and we wish you a great week. Let's meet here next week at the same time.
Thank you. Good night.